فتاة الخير يا أملا تنير مسير دعوتنا وتقيد مشعل الإيمان كي تنجو بأمتنا وترفع راية القرآن.
Mothers need to be supported, especially in those early years. So obviously the ideal is that there is a man, there is a husband who's there. Whereas in Western culture, slowly but surely, the trend has increased of women just having children without a man around. Sometimes even electing to do that, like actually choosing to, just get pregnant in order to have a child. Islam recognizes the benefit of having both parents is immense. In Britain, fathers, when it comes to fathers, 1 million children have no man at all in their life. And there's this phrase called broken Britain. Broken Britain. Because there's so, elements of society have really broken down, and there's certain aspects of society that just really need to be fixed. One of the major causes of broken Britain is absent fathers. First of all, men don't really know what it is to be a man anymore. Because the lines have been blurred so much, and because, people are constantly saying, well, men and women are the same. Women are saying, we don't want you to open the doors for us. We don't want you to stand up for us when, we don't need anything. We're independent. We don't need to be paid for. We don't need anything. We don't need a man, right? That has actually, over time, caused men to have a crisis. Men don't know what their role is anymore. Whereas before it was very clear to them, I must provide for my family. I must be responsible. I must, be the man of the house. I must make important decisions, etc. Now it's like, I'm dispensable. I'm not needed anymore, right? Psychologists say that father's absence devastates little boys. It devastates them. Even if you can't see it, over time, that absence is felt. A boy with no role model cannot learn to be a man. Psychologists believe it may take hours a day of male contact for a boy to learn how to be a man. And girls also need fathers. So, when people feel like mothers, if they have a divorce or whatever, they feel that when they do things like take their child away from the father, not allow father access to the child, believe me, whenever that happens, you'll see later on they regret it. Because that child turns on their mother eventually. Right? Because that child needed a father. Obviously, that's if they have the choice, if the father is responsible enough to want to be involved. Daughters need their fathers. They need validation from a man. So many times you see girls who get into relationships outside of marriage, etc. There's a yearning that they have for male attention. And they need that male attention. And if the fathers can provide that, it prevents them from desperately seeking it elsewhere. And, fathers are different. They express their love in a different way. And so as mothers, we should allow that. We should allow them, even when fathers and sons are playing and fighting, there's actually a lot going on there that we can't explain. They're actually learning a lot from each other. And sons are learning from their fathers how to be strong, but at the same time safe. Fathers also, one of the things that we want to encourage in the fathers of our community is to be fully present when they're with their children. Okay? And, technology has caused a problem in this, not just with fathers, with mothers as well. This idea that you can, your child is there, you've gone to the park to play with your child, and you just can't stop looking at your phone. You can't stop checking Twitter, Facebook, communicating with somebody. This has a harmful effect. Even though you think you're there, well, I've spent all day with my child, but were you really there? Were you really mentally there? Were you emotionally available? And children notice it. They really sense it. They sense whether if their mother is with them or not. And believe me, it has a negative effect. If you're constantly on the phone, constantly checking other things. Some mothers, I heard a radio phone-in where they were talking about this. And some of the mothers were saying that sometimes there's something on Twitter that they were checking that made them feel upset. or made them feel angry, and they would bring that emotion that they felt from the phone into their real life and get angry with their child. Or, subhanallah, these types of things. We shouldn't be allowing this technology to interfere with our real life. We shouldn't be allowing it to shape the way we respond to our husband, our children, etc. Right? So I would say with technology, we need to really have fixed times for these things. Not for it to be something that can interrupt your day constantly. So fathers, really important for them to be present, really important for them to make time to just spend time with their children and to express love. Sometimes in the past generation, they had a different way of expressing love, and they didn't necessarily verbally say, I love you, or even have a lot of physical contact with their children. But Islamically, physical contact with children is important, even for men. The Prophet ﷺ used to kiss children. He kissed his grandchildren, and that famous hadith where he kissed one of his children or grandchildren, and one of the Bedouins was there, a Bedouin man, and he said, well, I've got 10 children, I've never kissed any of them. And he was almost saying that as if he's proud of it, because it's seen as a masculine thing, not to show emotion, right? But Rasulullah ﷺ disapproved of that. And he said, what can I do if Allah hasn't put mercy in your heart?
فتاة الخير يا أملا تنير مسير دعوتنا وتوقيد مشعل الإيمان كي تنجو بأمتنا وترفع راية القرآن تحدو ركب عزتنا وتسمو في العلا قيما وتحذو ركب سنتنا